Detroit 7-on-7 showcase. We will be going live over the air on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA very, very shortly. But we want to get with you guys on the stream, all of our followers on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. Appreciate you joining us this morning to preview what is guaranteed to be an outstanding event. Several of the top teams in the state, featuring several of the top players in the state, all going to do action, all going to do battle in a couple of days here down in the D. And we get a chance to preview that. And we're going to have a bird's eye view. We're going to be down there, as a matter of fact, on location. But this gives us an opportunity before we go on the air to kind of reflect a bit. Just learned it's been 19 years for Sound Mind, Sound Body. And we've been going out for 18 of those. Joining us to preview the upcoming event, first of all, my partner, my brother from another mother, Allen Trieu, 24/7 Sports National Recruiting Analyst. Allen, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, Sam.
My man, Curtis Blackwell. Black, I remember back when it all started. I think, man, what was it, like 30 dudes the first year, at least that we were out there? And look at you now, Sound Mind, Sound Body, about to turn 20 here next season. How you doing this morning, man?
I'm good, man. Very happy to be here. Barely made it home from, we had a Sound Mind, Sound Body camp in the Dominican Republic, and the weather and the flights were horrible. So I'm just so happy to be back and be on the show with you all. Thank God.
All right, man. See, Sound Mind, Sound Body in the DR, going international. That tells you how far we come. Let's just reflect for a second because we're going to start out in a couple of minutes talking about the event down at Wayne State. We're going to have Nick Marsh on first to talk about River Rouge and his participation in the event. But just for folks who aren't familiar with the beginnings of Sound Mind, Sound Body, what gave you the inspiration? What got it all started? Kind of take us back to that.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that we did, and I really thank you, Sam, for your support and what you've done within our community and our support. You and Allen have been here from the longest, from the beginning to right now. So we just thank you all for your your longevity within the game. We started off Sound Mind really just because the top athletes in Detroit were not going to college, and so we wanted to be a part of the solution and really helping those guys get the publicity they needed from having events like our camp to provide exposure, and then a focus on everything else outside of the football side. We knew that athleticism was something that they already had, and we couldn't change athleticism within a one-day event, but we could bring attention to our city, attention to our players, and then having information that could be imparted. And I think it's been a way to kind of infuse some life into Detroit football overall. And so it's really made it so that kids have to have a little bit of life skills and study hall in order to participate in Sound Mind, Sound Body. And that's sort of been our mantra for the last 19 years.
Yeah, man, it definitely takes a holistic approach to getting guys ready for the next level. So I'm about to put you to the test this early in the morning. I know you're tired, but give us some of the noteworthy Sound. I know all of the alums are noteworthy, but some of the names that people would know that came through Sound Mind, Sound Body.
Well, earlier in our first camps, we had Brandon Graham, Will Golston, Jonathan Hankins, Devin Gardner. Then you get up to guys like Joseph Barksdale. Then you have guys like Jordan Lewis, Delano Hill, Damon Webb, and Shane Morris, DeJuan Mathis, DeQuan Finn, Sauce Gardner, Will Johnson, Donovan Edwards. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. Guys who have been involved on multiple levels, whether they come to just a camp or they're in our 7-on-7 part, or they did everything. Guys like Jacob Oden, Jeremiah Beasley, they've been in here like from the cradle up until right now.
No doubt, man. And then you look around and we see college coaches going to these camps, right? You were at least as far as I know. Right. You started all of that. You were the first, right? So if I'm mistaken, correct me. But if you weren't the first, you certainly were one of the earliest. Take us back to that sort of epiphany you had, man. We can really get college coaches out to these camps.
Just working at the NCAA, so when I left college, I played football. I worked at the American Football Coaches Association, where I worked at Baylor, got my master's degree, and then I worked at the NCAA. So when I came back home, I had a bigger view of what the landscape looked like nationally. and I had understanding of the NCAA, regulations and things that it took. And so I was really just on that sound mind tip, asking coaches not to come and recruit, but to come and really be speakers. And so because of that, we were able to do it. And when we started having coaches come to our camp, it wasn't really to recruit, it was really to speak. And Singletary and Leonard Haynes from Northwood were the first two guys to come through. And then Rich Rodriguez was coming out. And from there, it just really blew up.
It sure did. All right, we're about to go live over radio as well. So give us a few seconds to bring in the radio audience, and then we'll start talking about this great 7-on-7, and we'll bring Nick Marsh, one of the top receivers in the country, on as well to talk about his team's participation. So stay tuned.
Live on radio in 10. Back in 5, 4, 3.
And we are back, folks, here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. Also streaming this morning on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter, because we have a special event that we're previewing. Folks looking for something to do in the summer. You're looking to get that football fix. You want to see some of the top prospects in this state. And also some of the top prospects in the country. You need to be down in Detroit, the 28th and the 29th. That is Wednesday and Thursday down at Wayne State. The Detroit 7-on-7 Showcase, brought to you by Sound Mind, Sound Body. Joining us to preview that great event is the 5th annual installment of that event is Allen Trieu from 24/7 Sports. Allen, good morning. How are you?
Morning. I'm good, Sam.
We got to unmute Allen there. There we go. Go ahead. Good morning, Allen. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Good morning.
And then Curtis Blackwell, the man that started it all over at Sound Mind, Sound Body. Black, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Sam. How's it going?
Doing great, man. So you guys do so many different things with Sound Mind, Sound Body, from your regular regimen of things that you do with the athletes to your travel team to this 7-on-7, the 5th annual installment of this 7-on-7. So kind of tell us about this year's version, some of the top teams, and get folks ready to get on out and watch some great 7-on-7 action.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks for all you do for Detroit football and our community, all the coverage that you've been consistent with over the last 19 years. Today we're just talking about this 5th annual 7-on-7 showcase, and it's really an opportunity to put on for the city, to bring awareness to the top players, the top teams, and you'll get a chance to see the state champions, Belleville, King, and West De La Salle, and then you'll also see some of the top kids from some of the top programs like West Bloomfield, River Rouge, Cass Tech, Harper Woods. And so it's really a chance for everyone to kind of preview the top players and build some buzz around Detroit football in a time when there is no football taking place.
So, Allen, top storylines. I know there's a commitment set to take place from Jeremiah Beasley, who we were talking to this morning as well. Kind of just from your perspective as you look at this 7-on-7, kind of tell me what you're looking forward to the most.
Yeah, so for one thing, I think you're looking forward to seeing the next wave of guys come up, because in this 7-on-7, it's funny, this is year 5. I think year 1 or one of the first years, it was Dante Moore's first varsity experience. He was the 8th grader coming in, and that was when everybody started to say, hey, this is the guy that might be the next guy at King after DeQuan Finn. So that was the first time I ever saw Dante Moore really throw live and with King, was at this 7-on-7 event. He was still battling, I think, an older player at the time for the job. And so that's where I go to this event for, is to try to find that next guy that's coming up. Maybe hasn't played varsity yet. This is his first chance to kind of make a mark. And several guys have done that. I remember Jeremiah Caldwell doing that at Belleville before he became a big time recruit. They kind of pointed him out as, this is our next guy coming up. So that's always the exciting part for me. And then seeing these teams go at each other. I mean, I think last year the West Bloomfield went against Cass, right, Kurt? And it was when Samaj Morgan kind of went off. And those guys, you think it's 7-on-7, they're not going to take it seriously. They take this extremely seriously. This gets very, very competitive. It is a fun spectator event, and it gives you a little preview as to what you're going to get during the season. But for me, it's that next wave of talent coming up.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, man, I think about that as well because I remember some years ago, and I get this from coaches all the time, whether it used to be Ron, whether it was Ron Bellamy or Rod Oden now at Harper Woods, or it could be any one of those coaches that will kind of tell you about the next ones that are coming up. Crowell over at Belleville would always be like my next guy. Well, shout out to Corey Parker, who's at Toledo now, right? So, known Corey for a while, and he was talking about this kid, Nick Marsh. Nick Marsh is going to be this. He's going to be a dude. He's going to be a guy. And you always, you want to see for yourself, but you go in anticipating a guy being a guy. And he was right. He called it very, very well. They give him the nickname Megatron, and he looks like Megatron on the field. We're going to add Nick Marsh to the stream right now, joining us this morning. Nick, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Doing great, man. So first things first, Rouge in this 7-on-7, kind of give us a preview of what your team looks like this year. What you anticipate is, obviously this is your last hurrah as a high school player and getting ready for the season. What should we look forward to from you and from Rouge this season?
You can just look forward to me catching a lot of touchdowns this year. Just coming out there to make the team better. We got a lot of guys that can make plays, and we out here at practice right now. We actually, putting in some work. So, you can just look forward to making a lot of big time plays and a lot of big time guys. We got a lot of young recruits coming up. So, I could say you can look forward to that next guy coming up.
So it's one of those things where we've kind of really watched you, and Allen, I know you have. Curious your perspective on watching Nick come up as a prospect. We've really seen him blossom in this game, kind of rise to another level. Kind of give us a breakdown, kind of the scouting report, and then we'll get into talking about where he thinks he's improved the most.
Yeah, like you said, he was a known quantity before I even really got to high school. When he was in 7th, 8th grade, they were already talking about him with the Wolverines. Then he came in and made an immediate impact at River Rouge. I think the moment that he kind of came on to the big stage was in the state title game against DeWitt, caught several touchdowns, made some great catches in that game. You talked about him having that Megatron nickname. He's a big physical receiver, but you have to be able to use that, and he does. He's really, really good at catching contested passes. It doesn't matter if it's in traffic, doesn't matter if there's a defender on him. If he has to go up over a guy, he's going to win a lot of those jump balls. But I think where he's really added to his game is the ability to separate, run routes. He's got great quickness and speed for a big guy. Went to the Under Armour camp last month and tested really well at his size. And really, I think has shown that he's more than just a jump ball guy. He's become a complete receiver over the last 3 years that we've seen him.
Thank you, Allen.
So Nick, kind of give us an idea really quickly before we talk a little bit about matchups and your recruitment. Kind of give us an idea of where you think you've improved the most. Like, give us an update on your height, your weight, your 40, and where you think your game has advanced. Where have you improved the most so far?
Okay, 6'3", 200, run a 4.5 flat in the 40. Well, just going a little back of what Allen said, I think I've been working on, creating separation, getting more detail in my routes, getting in and out of breaks. Improving footwork and speed, that's been the goal the last few months. After our basketball season, I've just been working on, getting faster. I ran a little track, ran the 200, the 100, PR'd in both, ran the 22.8 in the 200 and then like 11.2 in the 100. So, I'm just improving little by little and, just putting in the work to do it.
So the other thing is, obviously, you are one of the top prospects in the country, and your recruitment is a big storyline that people are going to be looking into as they come to watch you play. First of all, Black, let's just talk a little bit first about some of the matchups for Rouge. I don't know if you have the schedule in front of you right this second, but some of the matchups that people can look forward to that they can come out and watch Nick coming up here later this week.
Oh, man, Rouge, man, they're going to get a chance to battle against Cass Tech. They'll get a chance to go up against Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Looking forward to seeing A.J. Marks, one of the top young defensive back prospects in the state of Michigan and even nationally here. Will get a chance to kind of show, how well he goes. And a lot of times I tell people, you don't get a chance to control your high school schedule, so you don't see some of these matchups throughout the year. But, CJ Sadler on defense against Nick Marsh on offense will be another matchup you might be able to see as well.
So, Allen, I teased it a little bit already. It is this is a very intriguing recruitment for Nick. No Michigan State fans are very interested at the moment. So, what's the latest in his recruitment? I know you got some questions for him along those lines.
Yeah, well, I think he's got a decision set for July 7th. So we're getting close to that. We're into the dead period now, which I'm sure you and I are a little bit happy about that. We get a little bit of a break here, but respect to Nick for coming on early in the morning too, after finishing out an official visit at Michigan State. Nick, you were committed there at one time. What was the official visit like this past weekend? You've been up there a lot. Was there anything that stood out about your time in East Lansing?
It's just the consistent love, Michigan State was my first love as a college, and that love never went away. So that was one of the things that stood out to me during the visit. Just being able to have them one-on-ones with the head coach. Having one-on-ones with like a lot of people that I have a relationship there, and that's what stood out to me.
Sorry, Sam. Another school you're looking at is Kansas. We should talk about them because we have some Kansas commits coming on, and they have a lot of Michigan guys on their team right now and in their class. And some people listening might be like, Kansas, how did that happen? But Nick, what are they doing right in Michigan and in Detroit?
I mean, they like trying to build something. We got a lot of guys from our area, from the Detroit area, and I just considered that. I took that and maybe we can do something with that. That was one of my considerations. So I just been, keeping in communication with them, checking the roster, checking the recruitment, and just really looking into it.
So kind of handicap it for us. Who is it down to? And you got your decision coming up on the 7th. When it gets time to make that decision, what is it going to come down to?
You got Pittsburgh, Michigan State, Penn State, Kansas, and Oregon in the top 5 right now. So my decision going to come down to one of those schools. And
so when you get ready to make that choice, what are going to be the biggest factors, the most significant factors in that choice?
Just, being able to take care of my family, being developed, and being somewhere where I love. I want to go somewhere where I can shine, build a legacy, and just be somewhere where I can actually have a name for myself. Absolutely. Well, I gotta tell you, Nick, it's been a pleasure to watch you grow up, watch you ball out. Looking forward to hearing your decision. Look forward to seeing you in this 7-on-7 later this week, man. Thanks a lot for your time. Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.